We continue to preview the 2025 college football season. Our stop today is Ottawa, Kansas, as we get to visit with the head football coach of the Ottawa Braves, Coach Nick Davis, who is heading into his fourth season with the program. Coach, I always start off with the year before. I know it was a little bit of a drop-off from the previous season, playoff team in 2023, 1-10 in 2024. Tell us a little bit about last year from your perspective.
Yeah, obviously disappointing. First two games of the year, we played teams that go on to the playoffs to win playoff games. Then we lose to Bethel in an overtime game, and really one victory on the season. But in our last 9 games, we had opportunities to win football games in the fourth quarter. So just kind of a big got to get back to finishing football games in our 5 divisional games. We had opportunities to win all those games. Had Kansas Wesleyan, who went to the playoffs in our division. We half a yard away from an onside kick and a last-minute fury attempt to be able to knock those guys off. So some good things, but definitely did not finish like we did the year before, which put us in the playoffs 2 seasons ago and winning our division.
Well, Coach, let's talk about the spring then. And I again, I say from your perspective, how do you change, or was there a change from the previous spring to this spring? And how do you address things? What do you address to your team in making the adjustments that you're talking about?
I mean, yeah, every year is a little different. Even the culture that we created this spring is going to be different than what is going to be this fall, because we're adding another 60 people to the organization. So it's
Wow.
constantly evolving. The big thing that we wanted to get out of it is to become closer as a team. Sometimes in football you get segmented offense, defense. So we did a lot of things where it was our first unit, offense and defense, versus maybe the second unit and the third unit and all of our offseason stuff. To kind of show guys, one, competition. If you want to get in that first group, go beat those guys. And two, if those guys are your best guys, they should be dominating in everything they do throughout the spring. So that was kind of a big focus for us this spring. As coaches, just stressing if we can score one more touchdown and on offense, and we can limit one touchdown. And we're a football team that would have gone and won 2 championships, gone to the playoffs 2 straight years if we were able to just do that last season, hold somebody to 7 less points and score 7 more, which is hard. It's football,
Right.
and your players got to execute, but just challenging everyone in the program. Can the coaches do something to overcome those 14 points? What can our players do? So that was the big focus this spring.
Coach, that's a valid point, and you're right. It is football. I mean, it things happen, and the ball bounces funny ways sometimes. But from goals vantage there for each one of those units, both offense and defense, just one more. Those are attainable. Those are things. It's not too much to ask.
Well, yeah, you go back and you just look at, okay, we let someone off the field or didn't let someone off on the field on 3rd and 20, and they go and score a touchdown that drive, right? Or hey, we had an opportunity at 1st and 1 going in, or 3rd and 1, going in, and we get stopped and we have to punt it, or we didn't convert on 4th down, which would have led us to, if we would have converted, better opportunities to score. So just little stuff like it's 1 in 10 teams are normally getting blown out. They don't score a lot of points and they give up a ton. Like our defense was pretty good. Our offense wasn't as good as what they were 2 years ago. But again, we were good enough if we could have scored 1 more point or 1 more touchdown and allowed 1 less touchdown. We could have gone 5-0 the last 5 weeks, and we would have been in the playoffs again like we were 2 years ago.
Coach, I always enjoy talking about the offensive line, especially in the preseason. I don't know if you necessarily want to be talking about your offensive line too much during the regular season. Often when that happens, it may be because of penalties or otherwise, unless you're just extremely proud. So let's start at your offensive line, talking about 2025. You had a lot of experience last year. Tell us who might be coming back.
Yeah, kind of everything we do starts with Donovan Henry. He's a kid who will be a 3-year starter for us in his final season. I think he's an All-American type player. I think he's allowed 1 sack in the 2 years he started on our offensive line. So very talented. His brother is Derrick Henry there with the Ravens. So comes from a long line of really good football players. And then really for us, TJ Osa, he'll be a 4-year starter for us as our right guard. Phenomenal young man, just graduated actually in 3 years, is going to go to grad school this last year, and computer science major and stuff. So pretty excited about him. Shane Sexton was a kid who played left guard for us, and he's probably moving over to our center role. And then Jacob Jones was a freshman who started the last half of the year as a true freshman for us, kind of as our right tackle. So we bring back 4 starters there. We actually, Joe Farias is a kid who started for us in our program, and he's going to transition to the D line because we like our depth as our offensive line. And then we're really a battle between Ivan Heitch, Will Lonenberger, Carson Garrett. We have Chase Guidry, a lot of really good freshman kids we were able to redshirt last year that I think normal teams those guys would have been in there too deep. So we were able to redshirt those guys. So we're pretty excited about that group. And when you have a starting guy and you're moving them to the other side of the football, I think it shows you that you got some pretty good depth. So we're pretty excited with Coach Wheeler, our offensive line coach, getting those guys better. We've been pretty good 2 years ago at running the football. Last year, we didn't give up hardly any sacks on the year. So kind of hopefully putting both those together. And we protected our quarterback pretty good 2 years ago. And we started running the football better the last half of the year. Once we inserted Jacob Jones, the freshman, into our line, we kind of had a little of a hole until we got him up to speed. But he'll be just as good as what Donovan Henry is there on the left side over on the right side.
That has to be encouraging for everyone, including those players in skill position spots. I know Eggers graduated, so someone who'd come in, giving you quality time. He moves on. Looks like you have a nice little stable of quarterbacks. Competition could be in the fall. I'm sure some in the spring as well with a number of those players. Of those skill positions, DeAnthony Curtis coming back at the wide receiver slot for you. So that's at least a place to start.
Yeah, DeAnthony Curtis will be his 3rd year starting for us out at the outside wide receiver, slot receiver too. Been a all-conference guy 2 years in a row. Kavian Long had similar numbers to him, didn't get the all-conference recognition. Just as good of a football player, just as explosive. So pretty excited about those 2 guys. We're actually returning a guy we had 2 years ago who was our best receiver in that room, Jaden Johnson, as a freshman out of Jenks High School there in Oklahoma. Took a year off, and he's coming back to us. So we'll have 3 kind of strong weapons that have produced for us, which we're pretty excited about. Jordan Clay, our starting running back last year, comes back with a year of eligibility. So first team all conference in our division running back, and we're able to bring back our second team all conference tight end and Sean Hurst. And then we have a young man, Rowdy Keith, who's a heck of a football player, tight end. And then, it all has to come together with the quarterback. Really good quarterback competition. We were actually able to bring in a transfer, Keegan Ray, who started a playoff game at Tiffin. So there's not many transfers out there in the transfer market that have gone and started playoff games. In the transfer portal area, Division I prospect, comes available. All of a sudden, you think you're going from starting as a Division II quarterback to, you're in a backup role. But smart kid, grad school 4.0 student. So we're really excited about him. And then we have a young man, Luke Edwards, who really pushed him this spring. So pretty excited about those guys. And then, several other talented guys in our running back room that haven't had an opportunity to play on Saturdays yet. But really excited. If we can get our quarterback play where we think we need it, I think we could be pretty special on offense.
We're visiting now with Nick Davis, who is the head football coach for the Ottawa Braves. Ottawa, the highest winning percentage overall for a football program in the KCAC. Lots of tradition there, Coach. And I know that you appreciate being a part of that program. Someone who's a big part of your program for the last few years, AJ Hemphill, he graduates, and with him, Lots of numbers, lots of leadership on the field as well. Tegan Flynn, though, is coming back on the defensive line for his senior year, and he at least brings back some of that production. But tell us a little bit about your defense.
Yeah, AJ Hempel, phenomenal young man, just got married, but I think he leaves with over 500 tackles, 3-year starter. Probably could have been a 4-year starter if we weren't. Colby Johnson was an All-American when AJ was a freshman. So, and probably could have been a 3-time All-American statistically if we would have done better his sophomore year in terms of record wise, because he was the same type of player that he was these last 2 years. So that's going to be tough to replace, but we do bring back 4 guys that started on our defensive line that have played a lot of football. Tegan Flynn's a phenomenal football player. Peyton Green will be a 4-year starter for us at the defensive line position. Preston Greenwood's been a starter for us. Brandon Doles is kind of a flex linebacker, defensive line guy that started the last 9 games of the season last year at the D-line position. So pretty fortunate there. We did lose Christian Cogs, who I think was 6th in the country in TFL. So he'll be tough to replace. Got some good young guys coming in that we're really excited about. And then really the linebackers is our biggest, question mark. Cody Presley will be a kid who is a leader on our football team and has played for us over the last 4 years, but it'll be his opportunity to lead kind of that linebacking room. And then plenty of talented young freshmen and sophomores on our football team that are trying to figure it out. And then really excited about our defensive backs because we bring back quite a bit of those guys. Donovan Martin, I think, is one of the best players in our conference as our boundary corner. There wasn't many catches on that guy last year, all conference player for us. And then really we return Christian Obregon and Elijah Hahn Blewett, and then Jaden Thrasher. And then we have some talented other freshmen. And then we're excited about a young man, Ethan Yinger, who hasn't played a ton for us, but has been kind of a utility player, special teams guy, getting his crack, at the safety position. So pretty excited about the defense overall. A lot of talented football players, and probably been the strong suit of our football team for the last 3 years.
Coach, I know there's going to be a new kicker for you this season heading in to special teams. DeAnthony Curtis, we've already mentioned him. He was your leading return man last year as well. Will he spend some more time doing that, helping you in that return game? And talk about your kicking game.
Yeah, DeAnthony's done a great job returning kicks. Keavian Long's probably a guy that will get opportunities. And then you always have these really talented freshmen that may not know the playbook early on, but you're trying to figure out a way to get them on the field. Our offense coordinator, Clarence Anderson, scored over 70 touchdowns in his career at Ottawa, and as a freshman only played special teams for us. So he didn't quite have everything figured out on the offense yet. And then they, throw him 70 touchdowns the next 3 years and have a bunch of returns and kicks. So we'll definitely have guys like that. That is in the mold of Coach Anderson of, hey, they got there, they're a freshman, they're still trying to figure it out, but they're a really good football player. And then you look back and you're like, man, a guy scored 70 touchdowns. How could we not get that guy out on the field more on offense and defense? But I think Coach Kessinger had it figured out. He went to the playoffs for 6 straight years and scored a ton of points. So he's definitely was a pretty good coach. So, I think a good problem, lots of talent figured out. Like Donovan Martin's a kid who's really electric that get him the hand of the ball. All of our guys want to be Travis Hunter now. So we do a lot of drills to show them, like, you're either Travis Hunter or you're not. So we don't have too many of those conversations on defense about guys going both ways, because we let them carry the football in some team drills and practice. And when they get tackled or they fumble, they show us pretty early on that they're not Travis Hunter.
I'd love to hear more about that one. I did want to mention something too, Coach. You talk about Coach Anderson and the consistency. Last year we were talking, you'd had different offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, and so there's some consistency coming back. And you mentioned Coach Anderson. Now he'll be in his 3rd season with you as your offensive coordinator. I think, again, another maybe intangible, but a big thing for the program.
Well, it's huge too because I coached him in 2010 and 11 as a graduate assistant here. So, like, I've known Clarence for 15 years. So that we always talk about our Braves bond, and it's real when you're able to hire someone that you've known for 15 years. That his brother is the dean of students here at Ottawa University. Like, family is a real thing. So able to get someone who was coaching Division II football. Sometimes that's people want to be a D2 football coach over in NAIA. He left the Division II because he loves Ottawa University. So I think that's something that there's only so many people out in the world that would do things like that. And those are the special guys that you want on your staff.
All right, Coach. It's been a privilege the last couple of seasons to get to know the program a little more, get to know you a little better. The question of the summer and getting to know our coaches a little bit better is this: favorite '80s song or '80s band?
Well, so I was born in 1987, so I wasn't around too much, and I'm sure the songs I was listening to were lullabies. But my parents, Elvis and Beatles fans, so I did listen to quite a bit of oldies growing up. So I would probably go with "In the Ghetto" by Elvis. Is one of my favorite songs for whatever reason. I think and it's not one of his more popular ones, but just one that sticks out to me singing when I was a kid.
All right, that's fine. That'll work, Coach. I appreciate that. Okay, the season gets underway. You're on the road at Kansas Wesleyan. It's a crossover game this year, and then you're at home for the first time against St. Mary. Crossover games, then a bye week. Your first divisional game is at Evangel. So tell us a little bit about the season. It's another 11-game slate of KCAC teams.
Yeah, definitely interesting. We redid our division, so the Kessinger division was a little bit more stacked, probably with the teams the last 2 years. Not, and Kansas Wesleyan was able to almost win a playoff game last year, and we were winning our playoff game 2 years ago. So I definitely think our conference is deep, but now St. Mary's and Sterling are going to the other sides, and Kansas Wesleyan. So we're really switching 3 teams for 3 teams. So be interesting. Normally Kansas Wesleyan for the last 2 years was the game we scheduled that, hey, if you can win that game, you're going to have a chance to win your conference championship. Now that's the first game of the year. And it doesn't mean anything for the playoff picture, but a lot of bragging rights. They've been a rival for a huge number of years. So pretty excited there. We'll get the triple option right before the bye week, and then get the bye week, and then really 5-game season to see if we'll be able to have a chance to win a championship and go to the playoffs. Evangel right off the gate. So that'll be a big time game. Tabor's had our number the last 3 years. So Coach Gardner does a phenomenal job. Bethany, I think, is probably the most improved football team in this region in the last 4 years. They're doing phenomenal stuff. Avila with the new offense coordinator, not sure exactly what we're going to get. And then finish with Bethel, who is a new head football coach. So not exactly sure what we'll get from them, but we'll have plenty of games by the time we get there. I think our schedule sets up pretty nicely. Again, we got a bye week. We go to Evangel, and then we have 3 of our last 4 home games. So if we were able to play really good football against Evangel and have an opportunity to win that football game, the last 3 of our 4 games are at home to win a championship.
All right, Coach. We're going to follow the Braves this year. We enjoy following Ottawa, the program and the athletic department as a whole. And I'm really thankful that you took some time today to visit with us about Ottawa football and be with us here on Midwest Sports Net. Success to you all this season.
I appreciate it.